Hey, this is Bradley from Emarosa, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I'm finally hanging out with Bradley. Like I told you earlier, I've been working with the band since the very beginning with my original channel, Punk Videos Rock. But this is the first time that you and I finally get to talk, and I'm super excited because you've created something even more special with this band ever since you joined in. And I'm curious, like that whole evolution, sonically, members, like that whole evolution process for you, like that must be a scary thing to do. But coming to this set up now with just the two of you, the duo, and then also like the more of an 80s inspired kind of sound. Like, how did you know this is like what Emarosa is now?
Yeah, I think. Well, first, I think more special is a tall glass of water, but that's like, I think different special. I don't think. I think they're two different things. Two different things under the same umbrella, essentially. Like the old stuff, before I was involved, it is very special. Like,
Absolutely.
and I respect it. But jumping into this, I tried to recreate that and failed miserably. And so I knew that I needed to kind of help create my own space in the band. And through, it's crazy to say that I've been in the band like a decade now. I've had the longest tenure, like as, the singer of this band. And so I feel like I have a strong claim to it is my band. Along with ER, obviously, the heart and soul. He's the heart and soul of the band. But the whole, I was raised in the 80s, and I was raised on 80s music. And so it leaks into what I do. That's what feels natural.
Right.
ER and I decided to make this record, and Peach Club was very 80s as well, and we've just kind of doubled down. But that progression was happening, from the start. The first song, one of the first songs that we really wrote, ER and I had worked on when I first joined the band was "Helpless" from our 131 album, and that is a very like funky 80s pop type of song that we kind of rocked up a little bit for the sake of the record. And so it was always there. I think it was just this underlying feeling of, oh, we're a rock band, like we're supposed to make rock music. And so I think once we threw out that obligation, Peach Club kind of started to come to life. Definitely with the help of Matt and Bobby, who have decided to do other things. And ER and I are we were doubling down on the pop. And so I think it was always there. We just are not hiding it anymore.
When you and ER get together and kind of start working music, especially with this upcoming record, Sting, how different is that creative process now that you have like a more of a straight line, a straight eye of like what the sound is for Emarosa?
Our producer Courtney Ballard is a huge part of that as well. He definitely is a big part of the musical direction. Essentially, he's become kind of a part of the band in our writing process. Him along with Stefano Pigliapoco, they're both great writers who we brought in. Alan Lewis, who did a lot of production on Peach Club, we brought him in as well. We wanted as much familiarity as we could have because it was different. It was very scary, and I felt a very strong uncertainty going into making this record because we went through a lot, and ER and I coming out and deciding to make another record, it was just like for me, it was very scary. I was very anxious about it. Wow. The first couple days, it felt strange to be there with just E and I and start, making music. But I mean, that's part of the process. Like, it was scary and it was weird, and that's how I knew, like, well, we're supposed to do this, we should be doing this. And so we just did the same thing that we've done for almost 10 years as we started writing, we started creating, we started evolving, and we've made a fantastic record that is a much more mature effort than we've tried to make before.
Yeah. When you're talking about this evolution, one of the things that catches my attention the most, or my ear, I guess, is your vocal ranges, your vocal tones are insane on this album. A song like Attention, where you're giving me these falsettos, I'm just like blown away at like how seamless it feels like, or it sounds like it just happens for you. How did Courtney and Stefano allow you to kind of step out, or help you step out of that comfort zone and kind of try these new vocal ranges and vocal tones for this record?
Yeah, I think not to take anything away from them. I don't think that they essentially like brought it out of me. I think they didn't tell me no. I tried to do a lot on Peach Club, and there were people in the room that were like, "Ah, I think that's a little too this," or "I think you're doing a little too much," and it's like, okay, well, it's a democracy, so I respect it, and I would change some things. And in this record, I was like, "E, watch this," and E would be like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." Like, the thing about Attention, I love that song so much. It's and I'll be super honest. It is very blatantly a George Michael rip, and I'm fine with that because it wasn't intentional. It just happened because we were jamming George Michael at the time, and so you know, Mr. Michael, if you see this, it is an homage. So please don't sue us. But I really loved being able to do stuff like that and bring out just a more, I guess, flamboyant side of my voice. I got to be a little bit more eclectic with things that I did on the record, the low lows, the high highs, the falsettos, the just like not showy for the sake of being showy, but I think just being a little bit more ambitious with my performance.
And even like the grunges, you had some grunts throughout this record. I think Danger was one of the ones where you really had it. And I gotta admit, like I'm stuck on picking a favorite song because I'm between Attention and Danger.
So Danger is my favorite song on the record. And I didn't know that you've heard the whole record.
Oh, it's been on repeat since I got it, and I'm like in love with it.
Thank you. Danger is. I was talking to Alan too. Danger is like my favorite song on the record. Danger is like the more advanced, grown up version of Comfortable from Peach Club. Okay. It's like it's that temperature on the record. Yeah. It's so good. It's like Danger is. I don't want to say it's like. My in my heart I was like, oh, Phil Collins or like Michael Jackson or like Stranger in Moscow, Michael Jackson. Like that's where my head was. And Danger is so good. Like Danger is one of those when people are like, oh, I don't like that. I just think you're an idiot because that song.
You don't know anything about music if someone were to say that.
Danger is my favorite on the record, and I hope that our fans get it. But you never know. Yeah. You never know. At the end of the day, I love that song. I'm so proud of that song. It's my favorite on the record. Yeah. I'm glad that you brought it up.
I'm surprised you closed with that song. I'm surprised you didn't start with that song.
Well, that's such a non-starter. I think it was a great closer. I don't know. I let ER pick the track list. Courtney and ER. We were like, I was like, what's the track list? And he's like, this. I'm like, yeah, perfect. Put them up. How do you put out 10 singles like that?
Now, Courtney's basically another member of the band. Yeah. During this production process, like what song what song do you feel like you were mainly challenged? And not to take away from ER, but what song do you feel like ER was challenged on?
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think ER was challenged at all. When we were like, ER, we need a lead, he would come in the next day and it would be great. It'd be fantastic. E held his own. Far none. It was great. Anything we needed from him, yeah, I got it, no problem. How's this? And he nailed it. For me, it's Rush, and I'll be super honest. I don't think I nailed that song. I don't think that I captured what I was hoping to capture on that song. And I was watching a John Mayer interview, and he mentions like sometimes you just like you have to let a song go, because if you keep overworking it, like it's just gonna it's just gonna flop. And I think I just overworked it, and I think I overthought it. And I think it's just one of those that and I don't think people are honest enough. They're like, oh yeah, it's my record. I love it. It's great. Go get it. Like, go stream it. Go get it. Like, we're in 95. But I just don't think that I hit the nail on the head on that song. But I love that because I like value that L essentially. Like, I feel like I dropped the ball on that song, and that's a great, like, I'm glad to put that out so that people can see, like, hey, this is fine too. Like, you know what I mean? And some people are gonna love it, just like some people love the Versus record, and I think it's not. So that's the beauty in, like, putting stuff out.
And the beauty with that too is that like you haven't performed the song live, so maybe that might kind of change your mentality on it or give you some more new perspectives to it. That down the line that could be something added to, I don't know, a B-side or something.
I kind of hope it just ends up in a Cars soundtrack, and then I buy a house. I can't listen to that song without thinking, like, this should be in a Cars soundtrack.
Now, talk to me a little bit about like the songwriting, because as far as maybe this goes for the new single again, but which song do you feel like basically just like wrote itself subconsciously, just kind of happened? You didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah. Let me think about the record.
Have you heard it yet?
I have. I try not to listen to it. Like, after it's done, I try not to, like, obsess about it, because I know we're gonna be playing these songs. It's gonna be out. I'd like to listen to it after it's mixed, mastered, done, sent out. Obviously for the sake of performing new songs, you want to get them down. So I listen to those, but I try not to listen too much of the record, because I want to listen to it when it comes out to kind of be reminded. I think, this is off topic, but Preach was really hard to write that hook. I rewrote that hook like 4 times. And one of my friends who was a vocal student of mine, he's like, what if you try this? I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And then he's credited on the record as a writer. But I think Attention. I think I was ready to write Attention for a long time, because I just really felt that song. Like, who doesn't need attention? And especially over the, like, people were starving for interaction with other people. I found myself afterwards, after things have calmed down, and we're getting back to normal life. Not that the is over. That's not what I'm saying. But once things relaxed and you went out, like, I remember just standing there wanting to talk to the lady at the grocery store to be like, how's your day? Like, starving for attention. Like, and
I need attention.
yeah.
I don't care.
God, it's so good, dude. It's so good.
It's so catchy. Like, that's what I loved about it. Like, it really like drew me in. So I totally feel like that. I feel like you were living the song.
You know what's funny? Courtney and I wrote that song before we wrote Ready to Love. And we, like, put it on the back burner, because we had somebody say, I don't think so. Wow. And so, and I respect, I was like, okay, fine. But then we wrote Ready to Love. Love that song. Great song. But the fact that we got to put out Attention and bring in a choir and do, like, I sent Attention to one of my friends, and she's like, this is the music that you've been wanting to make for, like, since I met you 15 years ago. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, thank you for saying that, because I feel validated. Yeah, in what I made. So Attention came out so easily because I have just been itching to create that for so long. Attention really wrote itself. Danger came out really easily. Man, I'm blanking on, like, our songs right now. Again was dope. Again was a concept that Stefano brought in, and it was fantastic. It was like that one kind of wrote itself as far as, like, melodically. It was like we just knew where to go with it. I wrote the bridge of that song is very literal. I was on the 405 after a session listening to the instrumental and, like, writing in my head, and I zoned out and I, like, almost wrecked. Jeez. And I had to pull over and, like, write down what I was writing in my notes and then do, like, a little voice note so I didn't forget. And I'm like, I'm going to remember that. That's a cool moment for the album. Gosh, I haven't really got to talk about like that many
I'm
songs
glad.
on the album. Yeah, I haven't got to talk about that many songs on the album, so now my brain is going like, what about this song? What about this song?
Well, I'll throw another song at you because this one is like slowly creeping up there too in LA.
Oh,
That's another one that's like it's getting up there. It's not attention or danger to me yet, but I know it will eventually.
that's one that like just came in and like slammed his lead down, and it was like, yeah, that's the lead. In LA, it is. I think it's the most like rock leaning song on the record. I feel like it could have had a place on Peach Club, maybe even leaning towards 131. We didn't completely abandon, but I do love. I think I really have this like soaring note. Yeah, yeah. At the end of the song, and I like threw this high note up, and I remember my vibrato was Courtney was like, your vibrato is like exactly on time with the click, and I was like, that's what I do, baby. That's what I do. But that was a really fun. Song. That was pretty emotional. All the songs are pretty vulnerable emotionally, and I think. I think Forgiveness is another one that came out very easily. It was like just ready to, like a lot of it was ready to go because we spent years sitting at home doing nothing, just waiting for the world to open up, and so everybody had time to just sit and think and dwell, and so that one came out. That's another one that came out really easily. But in LA is great. I can't wait to play that one live. I think that one will feel very big live, but obviously it's not out yet. So I don't love playing songs that haven't been. Yeah, when people, I go to shows, and maybe it's just me, but I go to shows and be like, this one's a new one. And it's like, okay, I want to hear new stuff, but I don't want to hear it one time. I can't be like, oh, what's that one song that they played? I'm gonna drive a song into the ground. My Spotify told me in 2021, I played Dua Lipa and Miley Cyrus's Prisoner 123 times. And I'm like, yeah, because when I like a song, I'm gonna drive it into the ground. And so if I like
Tension and danger.
so if I like this song that they play live, I'm like, well now now I gotta wait. And this is not a culture of waiting.
Now, talk to me a little bit about like the instrumentations for this record. Just because you said there's so many eclectic sounds, you had an orchestra in there, or you had a string a choir. There we go.
We did do strings. A lot of production stuff gets like sent out, and then it's recorded, and then we don't bring it into the actual studio because it'd be so expensive to try to be like this and this. At one point, we were talking about having like a children's choir, and with like the like the cost of travel and the union prices and the parents and everything, it was like,
that's a lot.
yeah, I was like, yeah, I reached out to them like, oh yeah, you can see them perform, this Sunday at Kanye's church service, and I'm like, well, I definitely think we can't afford them now. So, but we did have a lot of production gets edited in. Like I said, choir, strings. Alan Lewis, who does a lot of production on the, killing me, a lot of production on the record. It's like little bells and whistles that Courtney will throw in that really brings something to life. And I don't want to reference too much of Peach Club, but we were listening to Wait Stay in the studio, and we stripped everything except for just like the instrumentation, and it was just beautiful, like beautiful, and you don't get to hear the songs like that. You get to hear them like full. But if you take a song like Attention, and you would take out all the vocals and just listen to like what the track is doing, it's very cool. If you listen to Preach and you take out the vocals and you just listen to the instrumentation, people can get hung up on like the chorus. It's like the same thing. It's a very simple song. It's not. You listen. It's to maybe to, John in Ohio, who was like sitting on his laptop listening and be like, oh, this sucks, man. Like maybe it does suck, John from Ohio. But when you really listen to those tracks, there's so much going on that I can still find new things that maybe Courtney put in there, or that Alan put in there, that I'm like, I didn't even hear this until now, or when you hear him live, when you hear him live during a performance, there's so many things that just it's a really cool thing about hearing live. Like it's going to be different. You're going to see some different kind of stuff, and I love when artists do that, when they change up, their tracks a little bit, when they change up their songs. But for our record, it's just, I mean, we sometimes we have Matt Appleton do like horns and saxophone and just like a whole brass ensemble. It just depends. We're working on a cover right now that we're gonna have like live horns on, and I'm extremely excited about that.
I'm looking forward to that as well now. Well, dude, thanks for taking the time to hang out with me. I'm like super excited for Sting to drop, for everyone to listen to Sting. The album drops January 27th, 2023. Can't believe the new year is almost like around the corner.
I can't believe you know more than I do. Honestly, I'm like,
So if you didn't know, you have an album dropping. Yeah.
cool.
It's called Sting. It's pretty good, 10 tracks.
right.
Courtney Ballard was a producer on it once again. And yeah, there's two of my favorite tracks on there that you guys have to check out once it drops. But I'm curious what you guys think when this record releases. Thanks again for taking the time to hang out with me, and we'll do this again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.